Let's try that again. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Dowd. I'm local counsel to the Orange County IDA. And we're here to conduct a public hearing on Wallkill owner LLC. With me today is Melanie Shoutman, our Chief Operating Officer, Kelly Riley, our Project Manager, Fran Roth, our stenographer, and also Ryan Withall from the applicant. So how we're going to proceed today, I'll read the public hearing notice, and it's rather lengthy. After which I will ask Ryan to give a brief summary of the project, and then it will open up for any kinds of questions from the public. So with that being said, I will read the notice. Notice of public hearing on proposed issuance of bonds and financial assistance. Notice is hereby given pursuant to the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended and Section 859A and Article 18A of the New York General Municipal Law that a public hearing will be held by the Orange County Industrial Development Agency on Tuesday, March 16, 2021 at 10 a.m. local time in connection with the matter described below. As more fully set forth below, the public hearing will be held via toll-free telephone conference and by additional remote electronic means only, including Zoom, as set forth below. Please note the special public hearing logistics and instructions included at the end of this notice. Wallkill owner LLC, a New York limited liability company, for itself and or on behalf of an entity to be formed, has submitted an application to the issuer requesting that the issuer issue its multifamily housing revenue bonds in a maximum stated principal amount not to exceed $18 million pursuant to the provisions of a trust indenture or amendment thereof by and between the issuer and a trustee for the holders of the bonds issued under the indenture in connection with the undertaking by the issuer of a project, which project consists of A, the acquisition by the issuer of Title II or leasehold interest in approximately 14.1 acres of real property located at 455 Shut Road Extension in the town of Wallkill, New York, and the existing improvements located thereon consisting principally of an approximately 160,000 square foot building. B, the planning, design, construction, reconstruction, rehabilitation, and upgrade of the existing improvements as a low-income elderly housing facility consisting of approximately 136 residential rental units, consisting of approximately 58 one-bedroom units and 78 two-bedroom units, all of which will serve those at 60% area median income. And C, the acquisition and installation in, on, or around the improvements of various machinery, equipment, and personal property. And D, funding all or a portion of the cost of a debt service reserve fund, if any, and paying capitalized interest, if any, and certain other costs and expenses incidental to the issuance of the bonds. And E, the acquisition by the issuer of fee Title II or a leasehold interest in the facility and the lease or sale of such interest in the facility back to the company. It is intended that the bonds will be issued as tax-exempt obligations and will be issued as exempt facility bonds for a qualified residential rental project pursuant to Section 142A7 of the Code, the interest on which will be excluded from gross income for federal income tax purposes pursuant to Section 103A of the Code. The issuer is considering the extension of financial assistance for the project pursuant to the New York State Industrial Development Agency Act and the agency's enabling legislation, respectively Article 18A and Section 912 of the General Municipal Law, which will not deviate from the uniform tax exemption policy of the issuer. The proposed financial assistance being contemplated by the issuer includes 1, financing a portion of the project cost by the issuance of the bonds in amount not to exceed the lesser of the project cost or $18 million. 2, an exemption from all state and local sales and use taxes with respect to the qualifying personal property included within the project or used in the acquisition, renovation, reconstruction, or equipping of the project. 3, an exemption from all New York State and local mortgage recording taxes with respect to any qualifying mortgage on the facility to secure the bonds. And 4, a partial real property tax abatement structured within a payment in lieu of tax agreement. The proceeds of the bonds will be loaned by the issuer to the company pursuant to the terms of a certain loan agreement, lease agreement, or similar agreement between the issuer and the company to pay the cost of the project. The company will be the initial owner and principal user of the facility. The bonds will be special obligations of the issuer payable solely from loan lease payments made by the company to the issuer pursuant to the loan agreement and certain other assets of the company pledged to the repayment of the bonds, if any. The bonds shall not be a debt of the state of New York or any political subdivision thereof, including the county of Orange, and neither the state of New York nor any political subdivision thereof, including the county of Orange, shall be liable thereon. In addition to the issuance of the bonds, the issuer contemplates that it will provide financial assistance to the company in connection with the project in the form of exemptions from sales tax, mortgage recording taxes in connection with the financing or subsequent refinancing of the project, and a partial real property abatement consistent with the policies of the issuer, to be more particularly described in a final resolution to be adopted by the issuer prior to the issuance of the bonds. The issuer will hold a public hearing on the proposed issuance of the bonds and the other financial assistance proposed to be provided for the project as required by Section 147F of the Code and Section 859A of the New York State General Municipal Law. The subject of the hearing will be the nature and location of the facility and the issuance of bonds of the issuer to provide financing and the provision of other financial assistance for the project. Interested persons are invited to attend and will have an opportunity to make a statement regarding the project or the financing. Written comments and general inquiries may be directed to the issuer at the address indicated below. Under the code, approval of the issuance of the bonds by the county executive of the County of Orange is necessary under Section 147F of the code in order for the interest on the bonds to be excluded from the gross income for federal income tax purposes. Please note special public hearing conduct instructions and information. Given the ongoing COVID-19 public health crisis and related executive orders issued by Governor Andrew M. Cuomo, the issuer will not be able to accommodate any in-person public attendance or participation at this hearing. Nonetheless, in furtherance of federal regulations requiring interested individuals to have a reasonable opportunity to express their view at this hearing, and in accordance with Executive Order number 202.15, issued on April 9, 2020, as extended by Executive Order 202.29, issued on May 8, 2020, Executive Order 202.39, issued on June 7, 2020, Executive Order 202.55, issued on August 6, 2020, and Executive Order 202.60, issued on September 4, 2020, as amended and extended from time to time by Governor Andrew M. Cuomo, suspending the open meetings law and pursuant to Internal Revenue Service Revenue Procedure 2020-49, and if the issuer is able to hold a public hearing remotely, authorizing the conduct of public hearings through use of telephone conference, video conference, and/or other similar service, the issuer will provide all interested persons of the public the opportunity at the time and the date indicated above to provide oral comments with respect to the project and/or the issuance of the bonds via a video conference, and it gives the Zoom address, with written comments accepted on that platform in real time. In addition, the issuer will provide public access to provide oral comments in real time via Conference Bridge at toll-free telephone number 1-646-558-8656, meeting ID number 966-4786-4120, no passcode required. Finally, the issuer also encourages all interested parties to submit written comments to the issuer, which will be included within the public hearing record. Any written comments may be sent to the Orange County Industrial Development Agency, 4 Crotty Lane, Suite 100, New Windsor, New York, 12553. Attention, Melanie Shoughton, and/or by email at business@ocnyida.com, with the subject line being Ray, Wallkill owner LLC, no later than March 15, 2021. A representative of the issuer will, at the above stated time and place, hear and accept written comments from all persons with views in favor of or opposed to either the issuance of the bonds, the granting of other financial assistance contemplated by the issuer, or the location or nature of the project. For those members of the public desiring to review the application for financial assistance before the date of the hearing, copies of the application and other related materials will be made available for viewing on the issuer's website at www.ocnyida.com/actives-projects/. Dated February 26, 2021, Orange County Industrial Development Agency. Wow. Okay. That being said, Ryan, if you wish to make a brief summary of what you're planning to do, that would be great.
Sure. Yeah, this will be somewhat of a reiteration of what I explained the last time when we originally proposed the project. My name is Ryan Withall. I'm a director of development with Lincoln Avenue Capital. Lincoln Avenue Capital is a real estate development firm focused on the acquisition, preservation.
Ryan, are you reading?
Yes.
No, if you could just slow down a little bit because you're flying.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
That's okay.
Lincoln Avenue Capital is a real estate development firm focused on the acquisition, preservation, and development of affordable housing across the United States. The company was founded in 2016, and it's been quite active in the last 5 years. We currently own 50 properties comprising 10,000 units across 10 states. And in the last 4 years of our existence, we've closed 20 bond tax credit rehab transactions and have completed construction on 8 projects. Wallkill Living Center is as mentioned, 136 unit of elderly affordable apartment building located in the town of Wallkill. It was built in 2003 and it has 58 one-bedroom units and 78 two-bedroom units. Currently, all of the one-bedroom units are subject to a regulatory agreement with the Housing Trust Fund Corporation and Wallkill IDA, and those units are set aside at 60% of the area median income until March of 2034. Additionally, there are 17 units that are set aside for frail elderly tenants. The remaining 20 units are not subject to income restrictions or rent restrictions, so they're market rate. Lincoln Avenue Capital intends to proceed with an acquisition and rehab of the property utilizing tax-exempt bonds issued by the Orange County IDA and 4% low-income housing tax credits is issued by the New York State Homes and Community Renewal. The sources of the funds will be tax-exempt bonds not to exceed an amount of $18 million, equity proceeds from the sale of the low-income housing tax credits in the approximate amount of $8.8 million. We will be assuming a subordinate loan from the Housing Trust Fund Corporation in the amount of $1.3 million, and there will be a deferred developer fee to balance the sources. As a result of the project, we're going to be extending the affordability in terms of term and then number of units on the project. The 20 market rate units currently will be restricted at 60% of AMI, and all of the units will be restricted at 60% of AMI for at least an additional 30 years. We intend to complete a rehab in the amount of $5.45 million. It will be completed within 12 months of closing, and the focus of the rehab will be improving the tenant quality of life and improving the physical condition of the property. We will create operational efficiencies through investment in renewable energy and energy efficiency features. The specific scope of work is to be determined based on a rigorous design process and assessment of the capital needs of the property. But in our typical scope of work includes having all lighting fixtures in the units and common areas upgraded to LED fixtures, all external windows and sliding doors replaced with double glazed units, and that will improve the building envelope insulation for tenants that will reduce their utility bills. All the electrical appliances in the units will be upgraded to Energy Star level appliances. We also will replace all interior door hardware, replace all kitchen cabinets and vanities, replace all kitchen countertops with laminated units, and then we'll install resilient vinyl flooring across all of the units. We'll do some external work, and that will include painting of all the exterior walls and sidings. We'll improve the parking lot and pavement and repair any trip hazards. All of the exterior lights will be replaced with LED light fixtures, and we're going to do a deep clean of the storm drainage systems to ensure that that's operating at the highest level. In terms of economic impact, our total budget, as I mentioned, is $5.45 million. This will actually result in several economic impacts for the town of Wallkill. First will be local income. That will result in $4.5 million of local income based on our rehab. Local business owners will see $1.4 million of income. Local wages and salaries are estimated to be $3.2 million. And then the property is going to generate $384,000 in local taxes. Overall, the total local jobs supported through this project construction will be 62.5. And then at the site currently, we have 2 full-time and 2 part-time employees. And the part-time employees actually are work part-time at this property and then part-time at another property that our property management firm operates in the area, so they do have a full-time load of hours. So we expect to retain both of the, all 4 of those jobs. And in addition, through operation of our property and service contracts we have, there are an additional 8 full-time jobs that are supported by the site's operations, either through landscaping or maintenance contractors that we bring on site. And those are expected to be retained through the operation of the property. So that's a brief summary of the project that we intend to complete here. I'm open to answering any questions you guys might have.
Ryan, are all 136 units filled occupied right now?
They are, yes.
And during this rehab of any of the units, is anyone going to be displaced?
No, that's a good question. Yes, we intend to complete a tenant in place rehab, and we have a lot of experience doing this. Our contractor is able to go into the properties on a daily basis and do certain sections of the property at a time, kind of in a phased approach. During the period of time where the contractors are in the property, we ask that the tenants be outside, but we do provide a stipend, and we're expecting once this construction commences, we're going to be able to provide a rest area with food and activities for the tenants on site. That seems to have gone well in the past, and even during the times of COVID, we've found some creative workarounds to this to make sure the tenants stay comfortable and have a place to go while the work is being completed. But our intention is to not have to have the tenants stay somewhere else during the time of the rehab, and they'll be able to return to the units each night and sleep in their units.
Thank you. Again, and for the public, the sales tax exemption for construction that you're requesting is approximately $221,000. The mortgage recording tax exemption is approximately $187,500. And again, the bonds would not exceed $18 million or the lesser of that cost, that versus the cost of the actual construction. With that being said, I would ask if there's anyone from the public, Melanie or Dean, who wants to make a comment.
Yes, if anyone would like to make a comment, they can please type 1 into the chat. Dean, can you unmute Mr. Torelli, please?
Good morning,
Hi,
everyone.
Mike. Good morning.
Hi, how you doing?
Good morning.
Quick question. Can you explain the difference between the amount of the project, roughly 5 plus or minus million for the renovation, and what the difference in the proceeds will be for the mortgage of 25 million and or the bonds for 18 million? What would the difference in that money be used for?
Sure, yeah. As a part of these tax credit, tax exempt bonds transactions, there's a rehab component, which I described, and there's also an acquisition component. So there will be a sale of the property, and the purchase price will be approximately $16 million. The purpose of that is to generate acquisition basis that will generate the tax credits that can be sold to the investor to provide that additional almost $9 million of tax credit equity. So the sources are going to be the bonds, which are equivalent to our permanent debt, the tax credit equity, and then we have a subordinate loan, and then there's kind of an owner loan back to the property in the form of our giving back some of the fee that is allocated to the developer. And then the uses of that are, the primary uses are the purchase of the property, which is approximately $16 million, the rehab, which is $5.5 million, and then the associated fees and costs for paying an architect, any reports that we need, reserves, financial fees, etc.
Thank you.
Mike Torelli, welcome. He is one of the new board members of the IDA. Anyone else? Any other members from the public wish to make a comment or ask a question? No one else? Okay, Ryan, thank you so much. Without any further comment from anyone from the public, I will declare the public hearing closed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.